And you get your nose cone now. And you want to fit your nose cone over the whole thing. Make sure it sits nice and smoothly over it. Now, I'm using those same little plastic screws, and what I did is I glued on a nut into the housing so that I can screw it on. So I push my nose cone down just enough to clear those little screws, and then I'm going to mark them, and I got to cut it and drill them so that I can put my nose cones in place. Now carefully pull your nose cone off. And then you need to cut your little holes in there. And trim off any excess edges. Now you're ready to put it back on again. Make sure all your holes line up. And what's usually good is to make a little template as to where you want it to place. That way you don't mess it up. Make sure all your holes are lined up. And then what I do just to make sure that it lines up is I go ahead and I put my little screws in there. That way I ensure that everything lines up well. Okay, once you got your screws on here, now we're ready to mark where our door is going to be. Now this big opening here is where the door is going to be. And what you want to do is right along the line where the housing comes in, you want to mark it. Now you don't want it to overhang or anything like that, because then it can catch on your parachute, and you don't want to catch on your parachute. So mark your door. Mark it all the way around. Then you've got a couple of other places that you need to mark. You need a small opening right by your switch here so that you can press in. And it doesn't have to be a very big one. I usually make it a nice small little opening right there so that you can stick a screwdriver or something in there to turn your switch on and off. The next place you need is right here on the servo board, I added a jumper that I can pull it off to kill the power to the servo. That allows me to test it without it actually triggering the parachute. So I put a little opening above it so I can reach in there with a little pair of needle nose and grab that switch. So with those in place, then the next piece you need is you got to mark where your servo is going to be. So I line where my servo is going to be up, and I make a notch for the thing. Now the servo is very important here, and you actually want everything else cut out before you cut the servo one, because you have to have enough clearance for it to go through. So I'm just marking where it's going to be, and later on we'll mark it and finish cutting it. Now at this point, you take this off, you cut out your pieces, and then you're ready to reattach it and align up your servo. So I'll do this part here really quick, and then we'll reassemble it.